So we're joined now by Elizabeth Volpé Bligh. I mean, you have many kind of titles that I could sort of attach to your name, but they include being a juror, longtime juror here with the Vancouver International Music Competition, and a juror for the final round this year. One-time principal harpist with the VSO, adjunct professor at the UBC School of Music, and I'm sure the accolades could go on and on if we had all day. But Elizabeth, we appreciate you joining us here and being involved this year. And the first thing I want to ask is, what do you hope that these participants, these musicians, many of whom are young and emerging, will gain from being involved in the competition this year?
Well, I think with any competition, there are so many advantages. If you have the courage to take part, even if you have a bad day, you still learn a lot. You know, certainly just from listening to the other competitors, getting ideas from them, and opening up your mind to possibly different interpretations of a same piece that you might be playing. But also, it really is a great way to find out how to handle that kind of stress and still try to find the joy in the music and try to communicate the emotional content to the audience and make a connection there. And that's a lot of skills, you know. So if you start young enough, I think the first time you might crash and burn. Second time, maybe a little less burning and crashing. And finally, you get to the point where you can actually enjoy yourself up there. So I think it's a wonderful thing to have these opportunities.
Yeah, you really highlight the value of that experience, and thank you. And the other thing I'd love to ask is, you know, as an adjudicator this year in the final round, obviously it's a lot of responsibility and you bring a lot of competence and experience to that role. What sort of factors do you look for musically when you are sort of making your judgments?
Well, that's a very good question. I've been on a number of different panels, and it's always interesting to see the different rubrics that people are using. And I found the one that seems to be universal is that emotional connection. If they don't feel anything, even if the player is doing all the notes perfectly and all the rest of it, then they just, you know, the person doesn't advance to the next round or win the prize. But there has to be some accuracy. Obviously, you can't have a complete slaughter up there. You know, you have to have a certain level where you got most of what's on the page correctly done, but it's really all about style and phrasing and sound. Rhythm, that's huge. Pulse, even, you know, a lot of people lose the pulse, and then like, where is he or where is she or where are they? You know, so I find that it's really, do you feel anything? And if you're feeling something, that means they've got it. And part of that is stage presence, but that's not so much a musical thing as a stage thing, which is a whole other set of skills. And with harpists, we have 7 foot pedals. So often what happens is there's a, you know, like a complete disaster with the pedals, and they're playing all the correct strings, but things are going wrong with the notes because the pedals actually affect the pitch. It's not like a piano or any other kind of pedals. So what we have to learn as harpists is theory, because we have to know what key we're in and be absolutely aware of why we're putting that G sharp down, or it can go awry just because if it's by rote, you're going to have the airbags deploy, you know. So that's one of those things, again, as I look for, is that do they understand the pedals, or are those things still going well? And if they're, you know, constantly stepping on the wrong pedal, then clearly they haven't done all their homework, even though the notes, the actual strings might be correct.
That's very insightful. It sounds like you're listening for a lot of intangible, subtle things. How can you tell if someone feels the music?
Oh, it just gets to you. You know, when you start feeling the hairs on your head going up or something or just start to get teary-eyed or whatever, you can guess what they're trying to tell you. That's a game I like to play, actually, with my students, is play me something and make me guess what you're trying to tell me through the music.
Wow. It's almost like charades.
Yes, exactly, musical charades. So really, I think almost every performance, you could think of it that way.
That is fascinating. I've never heard that before. Well, I don't want to take up too much of your time, so maybe I'll ask if there's anything else you'd like to share, and thank you for your time today.
Well, I would just say one of the other wonderful things about these competitions is sometimes long-term friendships and collaborations are born out of these things, where people meet each other and they go, oh, I really love what they did. I want to play duets with that person. And so that's another great outgrowth of competitions, and I've had this happen myself with festivals. You develop long friendships from them.
Mm-hmm. Yes, certainly a very important and wonderful benefit. Well, Elizabeth, thank you again for your time and for joining us and for supporting with the competition this year. We look forward to having you.